everyone. Welcome to Self-Advocacy in Action TV show. I'm your host, Angelique, the Diva Everett. I have the opportunity to sit and chat with my special guest, Shamika Andrews. She is the founder of Disability Empowered Counseling, Community Outreach Coordinator for the Self-Advocacy Association of NYS, the Self-Advocacy Association of New York, and a member of the NYS Human Rights Disability Committee. I hope I'm saying that right.
Perfect.
The creator of Prideability.org, a website and advocacy group for individuals with disabilities that are LGBTQ+. Also, an author of a children's book and a woman of many accomplishments. Welcome, Shamika.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here, Angelique.
You're very welcome. I'm glad to be the one to interview you. So tell me about yourself.
Well, I'm Shamika Andrews. I am an adult with spina bifida. So I use a power chair full time. I'm from Albany, New York. I've lived here all my life in the capital region. And I've worked with the Self-Advocacy Association off and on since 2006.
That's a long time.
Yeah.
Could you tell me a little bit about your background, just a little bit?
Yeah. Well, I started out, I've been a disability advocate for almost 20 years now. So I started right out of college, advocating professionally for people with disabilities. I started out working at one of the independent living centers in the area, helping people advocate for benefits that they needed. So I did that for a few years. And then I went on to work at the Self-Advocacy Association in their AmeriCorps program at the time. And then I was one of the co-directors of policy at Self-Advocacy. And then I was a regional organizer for Self-Advocacy. And then I left for a few years to work at another independent living center doing wellness programs. And then I came back to Self-Advocacy. And now that's where I've been since I came back in June of 2018.
Oh, okay, that's very interesting. Okay. And since you mentioned about self-advocacy, so what do you do with the organization?
Well, I support our board members a lot. So when we have board meetings, I make sure all the communication is sent out to the board. If they need anything, during the board meeting. Now that our board meetings are online, a lot of that I don't have to do, because when we were meeting in person, I had to arrange travel and things like that. So I do a lot with our website and our social media. And I also am in charge of putting out our weekly update that comes out every Monday that talks about a lot of the activities and events that are going on that people can get involved in.
Oh, okay. Where are you located? Like what city?
I live in Albany, New York, which is about 3 hours away from New York City.
Oh, okay. We always say, what do you do? But what do you do for the Sannies organization?
Well, I'm the community outreach coordinator, which means that I do a lot of our communications that are online. And, if there's an announcement that needs to go out to our mailing list, I do that. I do a lot of that, a lot of our social media, a lot of our communications with our board. So that's my job as community outreach coordinator. I do a lot of outreach and like if we get messages to our website, I'll answer those, and communicate with people.
Oh, okay, that's very interesting. Okay. So I'm just gonna ask this question because it's not really my fourth question, but I'm just gonna ask this anyways. I know this month is Pride Month. So what are you doing for Pride Month?
Well, here in the city of Albany, actually this past weekend, we had our Pride Parade and Festival on Sunday. So I participated, the last few years, I've participated in the parade with my church. So we march in the parade and then there's a festival right after in the park. So that's what I did. And I've also coming up, since the pandemic started, I've joined a dance group online. So we're going to be having a Pride celebration online on Zoom in a couple of weeks. So I'll be participating and helping with that. So those are some of the things that I've done this month.
Oh, what kind of dance group?
Well, we do all kinds of different dances. We just like to get together and have fun and listen to music. And, each of our classes are different. Each, a couple of times a day, we have different themes and people dress up sometimes or make fun backgrounds depending on what the theme is. And so it's really a lot of fun. It's a fun group that I've been able to connect with during the pandemic.
That sounds like fun.
It does.
What other rights do you advocate for?
Well, my main focus is really disabilities, but I have done a lot of work with, women's rights, women with disabilities, different aspects of disability, like women with disabilities. I've done a lot of work in helping, facilities, health facilities in the area that serve women, to be accessible. I've also, you mentioned Prideability. So one of the things that I'm focused on and supporting right now is our Prideability statewide self-advocacy group. So we developed the Prideability website in order to provide accessible resources to people with individuals with disabilities that are LGBTQ plus. So those are some other areas of disability specific things that I'm doing, women with disabilities and people that are LGBTQ plus with disabilities.
Well, I just figured to kind of mention about Pride Month is because I know, we are in June and it is Pride Month. So I just figured to kind of put that out there and just ask that question. So,
yeah.
And I'm gonna go back and ask this question because I haven't asked it yet. So, why a member of the NYS Prideability group?
Well, Prideability, the first Prideability group was actually started in the Long Island area through a grant from the DDPC. And so it's now spread into all of the areas of the state. So I support and facilitate the Capital Region group. Because I thought it was important, like I said, to have that resource here in the Capital Region. And to have, like I said, the website, which I developed as well. So yeah, so Prideability, like I said, it was started, the statewide group, it was started in the Long Island area. And now there's groups in the Western New York area, Capital Region, so it's all over. And like I said, we have our statewide group that meets the fourth Tuesday of every month on Zoom at the moment.
Oh, okay. Can anyone join this group?
Well, if you're interested in joining, you can, go to the website and there, or our Facebook page, and there's an email. You can send us an email if you're interested in joining. And we kind of have a process that we look at people, talk to people that might be interested. Just to know if they're, a right fit for the group, because we want the group to be a safe place for everyone,
I
So-
agree about that.
Yeah. So, if people are interested, they can contact us either through the website or our Facebook page, which is just Prideability. You can search Prideability on Facebook and reach out if you have any questions about that group.
Okay. I just had to ask that question. It just popped in my head. So I had to ask that question.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah. Thank you. So do you support the LGBTQ community?
Absolutely, yes. Like I said, I've been doing a lot of work to support people that are LGBT and have disabilities, because as I started doing research, I realized that there are a lot of, LGBT resources out there, but they're not necessarily accessible resources for people with disabilities. So that was why it was important for me to start the website and to support the statewide group and to support, a group here in the Capital Region.
And since we're talking about the website, so what specifically do you do on the website?
Well, if you go to the website, there's various resources. There's educational resources, there's training resources, and we're still building up the website all the time with other resources. So it houses a number of different resources that are helpful to people who are LGBT and have disability.
Oh, okay. That's very interesting. Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Very informational.
Mhm.
I hear that you are a children's book author. Why children's book author?
Well, I started with the children's book because I've been just writing, privately for a long time, just for myself. And then I ended up taking a class from a friend who was a book publisher.
Ooh.
And, as part of the class, we were supposed to come up with a concept for a book. And that's kind of where the children's book was born. It's loosely based on events of my own life, even though it's adapted for children, but it's something, similar that has happened in my own life. So that's why I decided to, because I was, journaling and writing in that way for so long, I decided that it was time to share some of those stories. So that's how I came up with starting with the children's book.
Okay, so why the name, which I love the name, by the way, but why the name Butterfly on Wheels?
Well, because number one, I love butterflies, and I always say that my life and the stages of my life are like the stages of a butterfly. And the fact that I'm on wheels. So that's where the
Oh,
name came from.
I love butterflies, so I cannot lie. I like butterflies too. So,
Yeah.
and I do like the wheels part too. Like that's why I said I love the name.
Thank you.
So who inspired you?
Well, I'm just inspired by the people that I see every day, you know, other advocates that came before me. You know, like I had opportunity to connect with, you know, Judy Human, and there's lots of advocates like in Western New York where you are, that inspire me. You know, I'm friends with, you know, Lorenz, and we call each other sisters because everybody seems to always get us confused.
Uh-oh.
And so I'm surrounded by people and advocates that came before me, and I had the pleasure of actually connecting with, you know, that inspire me every day. You know, people like Bernard, who was involved in, you know, the founding of our organization, who's still kicking it and being an awesome advocate that he is. So, you know, these people are people that inspire me every day, that, you know, go out there, get what they want, fight for what they want. And, you know, the people that I see every day that are out there just, you know, fighting for what is right, you know, whether it's for staff, or whether it's for fair pay for staff, whether it's, you know, voting rights, you know, all of those things. Those are the people that inspire me every day.
Well, since you mentioned about voting rights and stuff, so are you gonna go and vote this year?
Absolutely. I always make sure, the last few years, I've actually voted in the early election because I've found that it's been a lot more of an accessible experience for me than waiting for election day. So the last few years, I've actually voted in the early election time.
Oh, okay, that's good to know. Where am I at? Where am I at? Oh, duh. Oh, so where can we find you?
Well, I'm on Facebook, which is how we connected. I spend most of
Yes.
my time on Facebook, so people can search for me on Facebook. It's Shamika L, which is my middle initial. Andrews is my last name. So if you search Shamika L Andrews, you should find me on Facebook. You know, that's generally where I am online and people get a hold of me. I am on Instagram as well, but not as much as Facebook.
Okay. And we already know that you have a website already, which is prideability.org.
Yes, people can go, yes, they can reach me that way too as well, through the website, or, you know, like I said, the Prideability Facebook page. I have a few other pages that I run, you know, like Self Advocacy has a page on Facebook as well. And I
Okay.
usually check those messages as well, so people can reach out that way as well. And, you know, and I also run a program called Miss Wheelchair New York, which is all about empowering women with who use wheelchairs. So you can visit that page too, on Facebook, for people that are interested in learning more about that program.
Okay.
Mhm.
Trying to do. Well, since you mentioned that, I think I got a question that just popped in my head when you said that. So,
Yeah, no problem.
what do you do with the about when you mentioned oh Lord, I'm trying to form the question. The women, I guess you said wheelchair accessible. Like,
Yes, the
like
Miss
what is your
Wheelchair.
job duty with that?
Yeah, so Miss Wheelchair New York is an empowerment and advocacy organization for women who use wheelchairs. And
Oh,
I've been involved with them since 2005. I ran for Miss Wheelchair New York in 2006 and won the title. And then in 2013, the coordinator at the time stepped down and asked me to take over the program. So basically, Miss Wheelchair New York we have an event every year, usually here in the capital region, where women come to compete to win the title of Miss Wheelchair New York and then go on to nationals and represent. So it's all about bringing awareness to issues that affect people with disabilities. Every woman or girl, because our program, we have a junior miss, so that's for younger girls that want to get involved, 13 to 19. And they work on different advocacy issues. Every woman has a platform of focus where they focus. Like I said, during my year, I did a lot of like accessibility assessments, making sure places were accessible. We also have a public speaking competition where the girls come and they compete and they give their speeches and they do on-stage interviews. And after each section of the competition, they get points. And whoever has the highest score after all of the sections are over goes on to compete at nationals and
oh,
represent New York. So that's basically what our program is about. And like I said, you can follow us online. Our current title holder, Heather Horadell, also has a page on Facebook, so you can follow her and see all of the things that she's doing and what her platform is and stuff like that. But if people want to learn more about that, they can reach out to the Miss Wheelchair New York Facebook page.
okay. Thank you. This has been another episode of Essay in Action TV show. I'm your host, Angelique Everett. And now I want to say thanks to my guest. Thanks, Shamika,
Thank you.
for coming out of your busy schedule for me to interview you. Thanks again, Shamika.
You're welcome. I appreciate it.
Do not forget to use Essay in Action to like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Now, I want to make a very special shout out to myself. All of you can now go to my YouTube channel, Angelique Everett Show, to check me out as well. And please subscribe. I would absolutely love that.